We are doing our statewide urban forest conference. We will have people from all over the state coming today to learn different topics in regard to community trees and urban forestry. We will be talking about things from impacting retail centers to storm preparedness and how to recognize hazard trees and how to take care of trees. Our role is to provide education and information to communities and homeowners about trees, the right tree to plant in the right place, how to maintain trees, how to use trees for the maximum benefit that they provide you.
Tell us, for people that have heard the phrase urban forestry but may not be familiar with it, what does it really mean?
Well, really here in the South, and especially here in Mississippi, urban forestry should be called community forestry because it's really about the trees and places that we live, work, and play. Not so much out in the countryside, but trees in our towns and around our homes and businesses.
What value do trees add in an urban environment?
Trees add a lot of value, and of course we all know it as aesthetics and beauty, but there's a lot of other benefits that trees add as well, as far as energy savings. Shade in Mississippi is extremely important. You can save close to 27% in your energy costs by planting the right tree in the right place around your structure. Water quality, wildlife habitat, property values. Your property values will be a lot higher if you're living in places that are well landscaped with trees. Retail places, any city that wants to bring in more tax dollars, you might want to consider putting trees along your sidewalks and in your retail centers. Health issues, creates healthier environments. It connects us with a lot of our history and heritage. So trees have a lot of different values, and we also have some programs, and we'll be talking about those today, that allows you the opportunity to put those values on community trees.
When the conference is over, what would you like people to keep in mind?
Keep in mind that we live with trees every day, so hopefully the takeaway that you will have from this conference is learning a little bit more about how to use trees to improve your life and to provide the benefits that they're capable of providing.
Mississippi Urban Forestry Council is very important because it brings together all those groups and individuals that are working towards the natural resources that exist in urban and semi-urban areas within the state of Mississippi. The council facilitates grants with help from the Mississippi Forestry Commission, and we also do workshops throughout the state to train communities on things they need to do to improve their urban forestry resources.
Why is urban forestry important in Mississippi?
Well, it's important just about anywhere that people live amongst trees and other vegetation. There's issues such as stormwater runoff, noise abatement, air quality, wildlife-related issues. So it really is an all-encompassing field. It's just forestry in a different mode in that we're not dealing with a pure forest environment, but one where there's a close connection between human beings and the urban forest resource.
What are the threats to urban forestry in Mississippi?
Well, you have unfettered development where you don't have ordinance or land use planning to protect some of the trees, many of which have been around for years. So that is one thing. So there's a lack of ordinances. There are just other things such as invasive plants that are impacting native species. We try to promote the use of native species. There's a lack of consideration for vegetation when people are developing or redeveloping areas. So those are some of the bigger threats.
So when we think of trees in our communities, we might think about beauty and shade, or environmental services, stormwater management, better air quality. The message that I've been talking about today is about health. And we have research that shows that having trees in our communities, it's important for psychological health. It creates more walkable communities, might even help reduce crime in places. So trees are nature's pharmacy. We even may need a dose of vitamin N every single day. So trees are crucial. They're important in our communities for everyone's health.
How do trees prevent crime?
What we're finding in the research is that having trees might create environments where people are more willing to go out and walk and interact and get to know their neighbors a little bit more. And in that way, you have eyes on the street, and that can help reduce crime rates within communities.
Tell me, what was your message here today?
To talk about the Forest Legacy Program in Mississippi, which is an effort to protect environmentally important forests from conversion to non-forest use.
What kind of response have you seen so far?
We've had a great response from the state of Mississippi. We were one of the last to participate in this federal grant program, but we've been able to protect almost 1,000 acres so far, and we have another 3,000 acres here in southeast Mississippi that we're trying to purchase now.
Tell us about the importance of the urban forest program here in Mississippi.
Yeah, well, Mississippi has certainly got a lion's share of beautiful forest, but in our urban areas, because we don't have as much planning and zoning, I think as you'll see in some other parts of the country, that we tend to see a lot of forest fragmentation in our urban areas, and this is an effort to restore the forest canopy, to help counties and cities protect forests that are in good shape, and it's certainly needed even in a rural state like ours, particularly in the urban areas.
My first presentation in the morning was on green infrastructure, and particularly green infrastructure used for stormwater management in urban areas. In terms of stormwater, the issues in urban areas are increased flow of stormwater, which causes flooding, and then the pollution that the increased stormwater carries into the surface waters, which adversely impacts downstream communities that are drawing drinking water. In urban areas in general, with development, you have increases in impervious surfaces like building footprints, building tops, streets, roads, parking lots, and this is a primary cause of increased stormwater runoff, and the corollary to increased imperviousness is usually a decrease in urban tree canopy, and canopy has a positive impact on reducing stormwater runoff.
And what should be done? What can communities do to reduce this?
I think is probably look at development ordinances that affect how developments go in, and try to get some decent balance on tree canopy and other green infrastructure that can be put in at the time of development to offset the negative impacts of the impervious increase.
In Mississippi, everything has a forest to it. But in municipalities, trees are very important because they add to the beauty, the aesthetics of the city, and also if that takes place, then people spend more money in the city. So it's very important that you have beautification projects, and part of the beautification is trees, and then they actively help the community, and they actively help the air and actually what we breathe.
Tell us a little bit about your reaction to the conference here, and what you'd like people to remember when the conference is over.
I think you need to remember, as far as the conference is concerned, that these people that are presenting know what they're saying. I always know what they're saying because I've been to this for probably the last 10 years. And I've gotten a great deal of knowledge out of it because people are doing this for a living, and they know what they're saying and what they're doing. So if you listen to that, then you come out with things that you can use in your municipality.
The importance of urban forestry is just, I would say a lot of it is community, just community image, just having a nice tree canopy that attracts people to a town and makes it just a more livable place. Another part of it is just what it does for the climate, what it does as far as what we call ecosystem services, where trees absorb air pollution, trees absorb stormwater, and trees help to conserve energy and just provide a number of services to the urban environment. I'd like them to keep in mind that whenever they're considering any kind of development, any kind of work that might impact the tree's root zone, that the tree needs to be taken into consideration, that what they do now may negatively impact that tree 5 or 10 years from now.
We do this program in partnership with the Mississippi Forestry Commission through a grant with the U.S. Forest Service, an urban and community forestry grant. We've been doing urban forestry awards almost 30 years now, And so it's so good to see a lot of you there here. And we've got a lot of Tree Cities now. I think there's about 36. They're in various stages of completion of their application and all those sort of things. But we're going to recognize all of our Tree Cities as well as those that are receiving their certification material. But before we start into the Tree City part of the program, we're going to start with the annual awards. And these awards are determined by nominations that are sent in throughout the state. And Jim Ewing is our new vice president, and he's going to do the awards announcement.
We have our 2015 awards for our celebration of trees, and what we'd like for when we announce the winner to come forward and say briefly about why you like trees or why trees are important, okay? Just to share with everybody. So first we have this award first. Commercial and Community Development, and the winners is the Stone County Economic Development Partnership.
So it's 12 years ago, and it's Arbor Day in Stone County, Mississippi, and our students are studying the Texas prairie. So we decided to make a change. And so 2 years later, the book, The Longleaf and Me, A to Z, a third grade curriculum connected book was written, and now every Arbor Day, the students in Stone County, Mississippi, get a copy of The Longleaf and Me, A to Z. They wrote the book, biologist and naturalist edited the book, and not only did we write that book, but 2 years later we wrote The Watershed and Me, A to Z, which is a celebration of the Pascagoula River watershed. I brought several copies of this for you all to give as door prizes. It's third grade. We are so appreciative of this award, and I can tell you that the students in Stone County, Mississippi now know that the longleaf is a tree that's tall, straight, and strong, just like the students in Stone County, Mississippi. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have our partnership awards, and the winner of that is the Nature Conservancy with Brandon McLaurin.
I value my time with the Conservation Corps, and I'm really looking forward to working with them. It's just amazing to see how many people that actually is doing the same thing as I'm doing. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, next we have our Green Mayor Award, and the award winner is Mayor Les Fillingame of Bay St. Louis.
And Donna was exactly right. You know, I am here to receive the reward, the award, but I tell you, we have a tremendous team of people in Bay St. Louis that are very, very committed and passionate about Bay St. Louis being green. And you know, when you talk about trees in Bay St. Louis, you know, we've been through several major catastrophes on the coast, as we all know, from Camille to Katrina, which was the latest. And one of the things that people miss the most is that wonderful canopy of trees in our communities that we used to all remember as children growing up on the coast. And I think we're all committed, and I think that we're all indebted to the landscapes of our coastal communities to regrow those things. And Bay St. Louis has made a tremendous commitment, not only in time and effort, but in ongoing maintenance of those trees that are so precious now, and doing so well and flourishing. And my hat's got to be off to all of the local volunteers, starting with Catherine Obendown and Ellis Anderson and all of those that keep the awareness up there, keep themselves out there on the front lines of that commitment, and makes a difference. It makes a difference. Mayors like I mostly just have to stand by and say, go for it, you know, and they do. And I appreciate that very much. And I'm accepting this award on behalf of you guys. Thank you.
All right, next we have our Lifetime Achievement Award, and we have two winners here. We have George Bird of Grenada and David Knight of Tupelo.
Wow. I'm just so shocked to be here. My wife kind of tricked me because I live in Grenada, Mississippi, and she said she was going to get a school award, and she said I need a driver. So I said, okay, you can get me out of from my work now because I'm retired from the Forestry Commission. And she said, I've done that. I've already talked to your boss. He said you can go. So here I am. Well, for 35 years I was a public servant for the state of Mississippi, serving all landowners and residents and communities. And in '93, I was a county forester in Yazoo County, and I was serving as an advisor to the tree board of Yazoo City. And then I transferred to Grenada to the Northwest District. And while I was there, I got to work with a lot of communities to become Tree City USA, and met a lot of great folks working in urban forestry. And then I served with Darlene Slater and Rick Olson. You probably remember them. And now, then I started serving with Todd, and I was working with Donna and many others out there, Russell Bozeman. And we developed a pretty good program in urban forestry. And I developed a close relationship with a lot of guys and ladies with the U.S. Forest Service and the work that they've done providing funds for communities to upgrade and to be used to beautify their communities and to be a working tool, an engineer tool naturally. And then I see David on TV, on WTVA all the time with his little tree farm, replacing trees after the terrible tornado of last year. So I just want to say thank you very much. Urban forestry has been very close to me. The Mississippi Urban Forest Council has been close to me, and I will continue to be involved when asked. And if my wife tricks me to come to a meeting, I will be here. Thank you very much.
But we've been involved with Tree City for 31 years, and it's been a big part of my life. Not only in dealing with what good they do for a city, municipality needs them for different things, but just mainly I think what trees mean to me is just that something that we can do to give back to our children and our grandchildren. That, if we don't maintain urban forestry through stuff like we're doing, then it's something they can't put back in their lifetime. So it's one thing that we can do to give back to our children and grandchildren to make sure that they get to enjoy the things that we've enjoyed. So I think that's what it means mostly to me. Thank y'all.
Okay, now we have outstanding communications, and the winner is Ellis Anderson, the 4th Ward Cleaver, Bay Wave.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here today. The 4th Ward Cleaver, for those of you who haven't heard about it, which is probably a lot, is an online magazine for Bay St. Louis and Waveland that's dedicated to looking at community life in a real close-up fashion. And one of our main goals is to educate people and to make them aware about the environment, the local environment, and of course the benefits of urban forestry is included in that. Fortunately, people like Catherine Oman and Mayor Fillingame give us a lot to write about, so we're very fortunate. I just want to say thank you in this time of 10th anniversary Katrina. That's they're not festivities or celebrations that are going on now. Or in the aftermath of Katrina, everything was, as you all know, was totally wiped out. And I'm so appreciated that in the time where people were struggling for shelter and infrastructure and trying to get their lives and businesses back together, that we had some really foresighted people to come in and plant trees for us, because those trees have really taken off. They're beautifying our landscape again. That canopy is beginning to come back. It's an ongoing effort, but I love driving down the highway and seeing those trees that were planted like the year after the storm, just becoming beautiful specimens that really give a lot to our community. And thank y'all so much for all the work you did. I know it was Donna and a lot of partners here, so thank you very much. We're very appreciative here on the coast.
Our next award is the City Government of the Year, and we have the City of Meridian Tree Commission.
Good morning. My name is Kevin Locke. I'm a planner with the City of Meridian. I also get to do urban forestry. I serve as the secretary for the Meridian Tree Commission. And about a year ago now, they had an idea of establishing a tree bank to so people could donate money to plant and care for trees. And at that first meeting, it was a slam dunk. Who would vote against not allowing someone to donate money to plant trees? Almost a year later, we finally got that established through our city council. So it took, again, a year for what was a slam dunk. I nominated the Tree Commission for their perseverance and for our city council to approve this tree bank. So now we have a way that we've been accepting money, but not in an established account. So this is a special account, revenue and expenditure, where that money is only for tree maintenance, tree planting, and it won't go back into the general fund. So I wanted to nominate them because watching monthly meeting after monthly meeting and this order being pulled off the city council agenda time and time again, when we finally got it, I said, I wanted to nominate them. And so on behalf of the Tree Commission, thank you, Donna. And I know they will be surprised when they hear that they won this award, so thank you.
Okay, next we have our Scenic Community of Mississippi Reforesting Award. And the winner is the City of Tupelo.
I'm Chuck Williams. I'm the Director of Public Works, and I'm kind of new to this. 2 years ago, I took over directorship of Public Works. I kind of tiptoed around urban forestry stuff, getting to know stuff. The tornado threw me right in the middle of it. So, but Tupelo's been a tree city for 31 years, so it's nothing new to Tupelo. We're going to ramp it up this year. We're going to plant over 900 trees in our first year of a 9-year plan. So I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. So on behalf of the mayor, Tupelo, thank you.
And next we have our Model Green Infrastructure, and the winner is Harbor Green Ocean Springs.
Well, thank you very much. We're so excited to be honored with the Model Green Infrastructure Project. This is a project that we did in our Smallcraft Harbor, which is overseen by Jackson County Board of Supervisors, and we have Troy Ross here, who is our member of the Board of Supervisors, also a former Alderman at Large in Ocean Springs. And also we have Hilliard Fountain, our senior building official, who is heavily involved in the project, and Brian Fulton, who is the county administrator. And also these guys are all fond and big supporters of green and Ocean Springs, of course. We value our trees. We have the beautiful oak trees. And in this particular instance, in our harbor, we once had a very large dry dock boat storage that was purchased by Department of Marine Resources, who was the other partner in this project. They took down the boat shed, and no one really had a plan for anything else. They were just going to let it grow back up into woods, including invasive species. So instead we said, let's have a beautiful public green space, at least. It was purchased with CAP, Coastal Impact Assistance funding. So you couldn't turn it into a boat trailer parking lot or have any hard surface. So we transformed it into a beautiful public green space, and all the periphery is native plantings, trees and shrubs. And we also coordinated with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and also with Donna also assisted in the types of species to be planted. It's not all complete yet. We're still growing in some of the grass, and it's part of a larger overall concept of other harbor road improvements that the county and the city are jointly pursuing, also with Tidelands funds from DMR. So this is a great example on how you can partner with both state and county and local agencies, and even with expertise from the feds, in order to create a new beautiful green space, which we've named after one of our former harbor commissioners who passed away, Dr. Thomas McElwain. So it is the Dr. Thomas McElwain Harbor Green. And I'd like to ask Mr. Ross if he'd like to add a few comments.
Well, I'll make sure that I'll keep this quick because I know lunch is after this. But that harbor park is one of the things, especially in a year where we're remembering Katrina and the resiliency of our Gulf Coast. If y'all are here from somewhere else, I would say go look at it. It's not finished yet, but that harbor has been rebuilt. We've spent a lot of money down there. The infrastructure has been replaced. It's all been done in ways to make it more efficient and more pragmatic. And thanks to our mayor here, we're making sure that we make it beautiful too. if we ever forget that what makes Ocean Springs special is the trees and the natural beauty, our mayor will remind us really quick, and she's been a great advocate. And I'm glad to be able to partner with her and do things like we are at the Inner Harbor, at the Harbor Park, and the facilities that we're building in the future.
Our next award is for Outstanding Individual Contributions, and the winner is Catherine T. Oman, Bay St. Louis.
Thank you very much. This is an honor. I'd like to say, I really have a love for working in my community, and without the help of my community in itself, the mayor, Ellis, Public Works, beautification, volunteers, without all their help, nothing would get done. I can have all these great ideas, or somebody else can have all these great ideas, but if we don't work together, it doesn't happen. And, you know, every time I approach Les with a project, he smiles and he says, what can we do to get this done? And Public Works steps in, beautification steps in, volunteers, you know, chime in. They say, what can we do to help do this? And we have fun doing these projects, whether it's planting trees across the city, or planting bulbs, or making conservational landscaping gardens. I appreciate everybody's help. And then Ellis comes in and says, she's so excited about the project, she's got to spread the news, which increases the interest in the city. How green can we be? We're going green. And not just the city of Bay St. Louis, but Waveland, Diamond Head, all of Hancock County. And anybody that wants help, I'm here to help if I can. If anybody wants to help me, please. I want you to come help. But thank you, this is an honor.
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
Visit our website at msurbanforest.com.